So cash offers, what are they? Why am I getting cash offers? Maybe you're researching this channel because my company is giving you a cash offer. Maybe I'm talking to you personally. Maybe you're working with another investor, or maybe you're just selling your home on the market and your agent's telling you to use this cash offer, use this cash offer. We got multiple offers. This is the best offer. And you're not really sure what to do. So clearly you're reaching out for some help. You're on the right channel. I'm going to tell you everything there is to know about cash offers. So just defining what is a cash offer. I mean, it sounds basic, but it's basically an offer that doesn't require any sort of mortgage, no finance, no financing that's coming to the table from a bank or some other source. There's some caveats to cash offers that I'm going to get into that, again, not all cash offers are created equal. And again, it's important that you pay attention to these things and that you're working with a reputable source. So again, this is why it's imperative that you guys call us, you email us, all the information is below. It's imperative that you call somebody reputable. I'm going to be the one that's representing your best interest, and I'm going to tell you up front exactly where we're getting the money, how we're doing the transaction, and how we're going through the process. And not everybody's going to do that, because again, just because someone's saying they have a cash offer doesn't mean that it's necessarily a cash offer. There's a lot of scenarios where it's not. So, again, stick around to the whole video, and I'm going to explain some of that at the end, and I'm going to, give you some tips and tricks to, the questions that you should ask anybody that's, suggesting about having cash offer. But again, cash offer in its most basic form is no need for any sort of financing from a bank, or traditional bank, I should say. So, who's making these cash offers? It could really be anybody. If you have your home listed on the MLS, you'll get multiple offers, and your agent will tell you, oh, we have a cash offer, it's the best offer. Not necessarily true, but in 90% of the time, it's probably true that that's going to be your best offer, depending on the terms and depending on some other scenarios. Other than just traditional MLS home buying, a lot of investors are using cash offers, and a lot of times that's to avoid having the timeline from getting approved from a bank. Again, they're saying cash offer will close in 15 days, blah 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 blah, trying to show you that there's no hassle to sell their home. And again, not always true. Sometimes the individual that's actually providing the cash offer doesn't even have the cash, right? So again, it's important you work with somebody reputable. Now, when you're working with someone that's saying that they want a cash offer, right? When I keep saying that it's not always what it seems, especially when you're on the MLS, you're working on the MLS and you have your home listed, and your agent comes to you and says, oh, we have a cash offer. Everybody jumps for joy. They think, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to sell my home in 2 weeks. Okay, well, you really want your agent to be paying attention to the contract. I've seen this 100 times. Agents say, oh, they have a cash offer. I've even given cash offers to agents, and I don't have the actual cash in my back pocket, in my bank account, ready to deploy it on this house. And a lot of these agents, they have no idea what you're even talking about when it's a cash offer. They just see cash offer and they think, oh boy, I'm gonna get this commission check real quick. It's not always the case. I recently actually just did one of these deals where I offered cash offer to get my deal through, and the deal ended up not going through. And honestly, it was my fault. I couldn't close the deal, and a lot of it had to do with the zoning. And again, some of this stuff creeps up, and it can crush deals. So you really need someone that's going to be upfront and straightforward with you on the process and what's going on, and being honest and communicating throughout the process. And one of the things that agents really need to pay attention to in that contract, there's actual contingency that says financing is being waived. Okay, well, the financing is being waived. Well, what does that necessarily mean? Just because the financing is being waived does not mean that it is a true cash offer. That could simply mean that the buyer is just waiving the contingency to get financing. It doesn't even mean that they're not going to get financing. So that's something that you might want to make clear when you're going to sell your home. If you have your agent come to you and say, oh, we have a cash offer, read the offer. It should say, there's a little box on the contract, and it says waiving financial contingency, and it says, it's a little box that says check waived. It does not mean that it's a cash offer. You should specifically ask your agent, is this a cash offer? Did you verify this is a cash offer? Can you please give me some sort of confirmation that this is, in fact, is a cash offer? Because sometimes it's not. All that means, again, is that they're waiving the financial contingency. So what happens if it's not a cash offer and you go through the process and the buyer is in fact trying to get financing? Well, okay, they give you an earnest money deposit. Well, what's your earnest money deposit? Typically a 1%. So let's say you have a $400,000 home, you get $4,000 as an earnest money down, put into escrow, and you are going through the process, and then the deal ends up falling through because the buyer couldn't get financing. They couldn't get the money to buy the home. Okay, well, you go to your agent and you say, well, I thought this was a cash offer. What happened? Agent's going to come to you and say, no, they just waived the financial contingency. That doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't going to look for financing. It's a very common misconception with this clause, and you really need to get that information up front. And if someone says that it is a cash offer, ask them for proof of funds. A very simple thing, give me your proof of funds. But again, if that's waived, a buyer can't get financing, falls through, well, guess what? Your house is back on the market, and there's not much you could do about it. You will get the earnest money down. Okay, you'll get your $4,000. But if you're in a situation where you've moved out of state, or if you've done something already, you could be dealing with a big pain in the butt, right? Just because you thought you were getting a cash offer and you really weren't. So again, these are some of the nuances that you want to make sure that your agent or whoever you're working with is being very clear, honest, and upfront. Again, you can work with a lot of shady people in this business. I work with them myself. There's a lot of shady agents out there. There's a lot of shady investors out there. Honestly, there's a lot of shady buyers and sellers out there that are trying to get the best dollar for their home. But again, that's why you work with a reputable company like us. Again, reach out to us. We're going to be honest with you. We're going to tell you everything you need to know. We're going to be upfront and straightforward. That's what makes us different and better than all the other investors out there. It's just, we're a family-run shop. You'll probably see my kids coming to look at your house. You might see my wife. Again, check out our videos. You'll meet us. You'll know us. You'll like us. Again, we're local to Lehigh Valley. So again, just reach out to us. So now that we've gone through, what is a cash offer? Who's going to give you a cash offer? What are some of the pros and cons? Okay, I've given you some of the drawbacks and things you need to look out for with, getting a cash offer. But there's a lot of pros to it. So, like I said, 90% of the time, if you're listing on the MLS and you get a cash offer in, again, verify that it is actually a cash offer. If it is, fantastic. You're gonna have really minimal issues. And why do you have minimal issues? Because there's no need for the bank to do any sort of inspections, no appraisal. It's really up to the individual buyer what they want to do. If they're waiving the financial contingency, they may waive almost everything. I'm going to say that they probably aren't going to waive the inspection, and I would never recommend anybody waive an inspection, but they may as well do that as well. So, again, all depend on your individual contract and situation. You need to go through all of that information with either your agent or the individual that you're speaking to about buying the property. But again, if you're getting a cash offer, whether it's on the MLS or off market, if you're calling someone like me and you're going through the motions and you're getting the cash offer and we go through it, we can close in 14 days. Realistically, if you need to move fast, if you're relocating, if you're in a divorce, if you're in foreclosure, there's a lot of different scenarios where you may need the money fast or you may need to sell it fast, and you can really move on pretty quickly. And a lot of times, if you're working with someone like me, we don't require any sort of cleanup. We don't require you to do anything with the property. We'll walk in, take care of the whole thing from start to finish. One of the homes that I recently just took care of, it was basically a hoarder house, right? So newspapers all along the walls, barely walked through the house. I think the woman was collecting all these newspapers. It was pretty insane. But either way, there was no requirement for her to clean this house out, or her family or anything. Again, we spoke with the family. They just wanted to be done with it and wash their hands with it, because they couldn't take care of it. And again, it's a lot easier sometimes to just pass that off. That's why, I tell people a lot of times that, individuals like myself, we're looking to buy homes at a discount, right? Everybody out there that's looking to buy cash off market is looking for a discount. But at the same time, they should be providing some sort of value, some sort of service. You're not just going to sell your home for, lower than market price for no reason. And there's typically a reason. And again, that could be because you need the cash, you need to move quick, you don't want to take care of the property, you don't want to upgrade it, you don't want to deal with any of the hassle of, selling your home on the market, doing the showings, leaving your house, coming back after the showings, looking at all the contracts, dealing with the realtor, dealing with the other realtor. There's a whole slew of things that you have to not necessarily micromanage, but you have to pay attention to and be aware of. And not everybody has time for that. We have families, we have jobs, we have hobbies, we have lives. So sometimes it's a lot easier just to have, again, someone like my team come in and take care of it for you. That's the service we provide. When does it not make sense to get a cash offer? It does not make sense to get a cash offer if your home is in impeccable shape, you have plenty of time to move, you're in no rush to do anything, and you just want to sell your home, right? If you're looking to sell your home and you're coming up on retirement and you just want to rent somewhere nearby, or you already have a home lined up and you're ready to go and you could just take your time, then I highly recommend that you get an agent and you put it on the market and just get the top dollar for it, because you really don't have no need to get a cash offer. It doesn't make much sense for you. So I told you about some of the ways that people can get kind of misled by cash offers. I promised you towards the end of the video that I would give you some tips and just tricks to ensure that you're not getting misled or scammed by someone. One, again, read your contracts. If you're working with an agent, make sure they're reading the contract. Just because it says that the financing contingency is waived does not mean it's a cash offer. You need to get that in writing. Make sure your agent is asking the other agent or the buyer, whoever it may be, if it is in fact a cash offer. Second thing you need to do is you need to get proof of funds. So if someone like myself, or if another investor or even a buyer on the MLS comes to you and says, oh, I'm going to give you a cash offer, you verify it's a cash offer, get proof of funds. Trust me, it's going to make your life a lot easier, because if you see that you're getting a cash offer and then you ask for proof of funds, they can't get it to you, or you get proof of funds and it's for 2/3 the amount. Well, what's going on here? Because what typically happens is you're going to get an offer, a cash offer from some sort of investor, and they're going to put it on a contingency of an inspection. And usually they'll put it out to 45 days and 30 to 45 days, and they're going to come in and they'll do a walkthrough. Maybe they'll bring their contractor in, maybe they'll bring an inspector in, who knows what they'll do. And then after the fact, after you've come up with a price, they're going to say, oh, well, all this is wrong with it, and now I need to bring the price down because of all the work that needs to be done, and blah blah blah. And again, that is part of the process of what we're doing. Is we have to come and see the property to see what kind of work needs to be done for it to make financial feasible sense. However, I do see quite often investors will just throw out an offer. They'll look on Zillow and just take 70% of the Zillow price and then say, oh, here's your offer. And then people jump on it and say, oh yeah, come on in. They sign a contract. They don't even realize that there's an inspection contingency on there. Have the investor come in. Investor comes back out and says, oh, well, we need to negotiate this price again now. And then again, it's just time, aggravation, and headaches that you don't want to deal with. So make sure you get that proof of funds. Number 3, read those contingencies in the contract. If you're working with an investor, 9 times out of 10 they're going to put some sort of inspection contingency in there. And to be honest with you, that's not a bad idea. We do that as well. However, I'm not going to give you a price. I'm not going to agree to any sort of price until we come on the property. We're not going to be under contract. We're not going to do any of that until I myself, or someone from my team is going to be on the property. And at that point, we're going to give you a hard, committed price at that point that we will close on. And that's what you're not going to get all the time. So you got to work with somebody. Again, call us. Our information's right here. We're available all the time, so please give us a call. Number 4, I'm going to give you a bonus one here. Number 4 that you want to take a look at when you're looking at these contracts, and again, this is on the MLS, this is via an investor like myself, is you want to see in the fine print, it's not really fine print, but in the contingencies, it's usually an added one at the bottom, is if the contract is assignable. Okay, very important. Is it assignable? So what does assignable mean? When your contract is assignable, typically what you'll have is a wholesaler, which again now has to be regulated by, they have to be a realtor now. So that's one good thing that came out of this whole debacle with the National Association of Realtors. However, it still happens where someone may put your home under contract and they have no intention of buying or closing on the home. What they're going to do is they're going to go find someone, they're going to go email a million people, they're going to text a million people, call a million people, and see who's interested in this property based on the price that you guys have negotiated. And they may not have even been out to the property, they may have no idea what needs to be done to the property, and you may have no idea that they're even doing this. So again, make sure if it says assignable, what they may be doing is shopping, putting you under contract, shopping you out to all these people. They get somebody, and what they'll do is you agree to a price. They're going to negotiate a higher price with the end buyer, and they're going to take that difference, right? And they're going to close on the property, and they won't pay any of the closing costs. They won't pay any of that. You will not pay the closing costs. Usually the end buyer does. So it's not going to fall on you. However, they're going to get that difference between what you agreed on with them and what the end buyer is going to be. And to be honest with you, if you agreed to a price, I'm not necessarily blaming the wholesaler for that. They're providing a service by finding someone that's going to buy your home for a price higher than what you agreed to. However, what I don't like is when wholesalers, put sellers under contract, they put properties under contract that are assignable. They have no intention of buying the property, none at all. In fact, they might not even have the economic feasibility of buying the property, and then they'll try and shop it around, and they can't find anybody to buy it. So what's going to happen? They're just going to fall through. They're going to fall through on the sale, and it's not going to get sold. And again, you're going to be there sitting, what the hell happened? I thought we were under contract. I thought this was all good. And you're going to have no idea why. And then they're going to ghost you, and they're never going to hear from them again. Again, don't get ghosted by the wholesalers. Please feel free, reach out to us anytime. Again, even if it's just to talk about your property or anything that we talked about in this video, please reach out. I'm happy to help anytime. Thanks for watching, guys.